Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Doc Bernhardt. Today we will be discussing One Piece live action season 2, my expectations. Maybe I'll even talk a little bit about my opinion of season 1, and we'll see where we go from there. Genuinely, I'm honestly excited for what they're going to do, how we're going to be able to spend more time with each character. Of course, the additional of new characters that are coming up, of course, Chopper and Nico Robin, and eventually, of course, whenever it will be time in the show, Vivi, of course. But honestly, what I genuinely expect, especially I believe there's only going to be one episode of Lockdown, is just how the characters kind of develop their relationship from there a little bit more. What I would expect is maybe a build, not that they didn't have a bond in the anime or in the manga, is just to build up more and more of their relationship between each other. Maybe see some more interactions between Zoro and Sanji, to see that rivalry build up into kind of that brotherly, argumentative rivalry, friendship. See Nami and Luffy have like a brother-sister dynamic, of course, because from what I understand, Emily Rudd and Iñaki Godoy already have kind of that dynamic. I kind of want to see a little bit more of that, maybe a little bit more humor from I'd say Zoro, a little bit more humor, because the one thing that I kind of wish that McKinney did was a little bit more humor, a little bit, not a whole lot, because like you need a balance of seriousness and comedy to make a character enjoyable, like a character like Zoro. Because the one thing that I appreciate the anime and both the manga does is give him that time to actually have that kind of jokey nature. And it's still kind of involved in the later seasons, of course. But for this instance, I kind of want to see a little bit more of maybe McKinney's sense of humor as a person in the acting, because it's like what I also enjoyed from season 1 was how there was a little bit of the individual actor in their version of that character. I really enjoyed, and this is my favorite scene, I genuinely really like from Sanji and Nami from when they first went to the Baratie and had that really funny scene where she's like, huh? What? Why is this guy talking to me like this? What the heck? And then everybody else is just teasing her about the guy trying to flirt with him. And it's super funny. And I also like the fact that they didn't make Sanji a pervert, to be honest. They made him a guy that is not necessarily a womanizer, but more so a guy that is flirtatious. He's a guy who believes women are very important, but not in a, I guess maybe not in a simp way, sort of still in a simp way, because it's like there's like, okay, now you're just kind of begging for their attention kind of ordeal, which is how it plays out. But I think with Taz Skylar's way of playing it out in that scene as well, he has this sort of charm and goofiness to it, to where it just doesn't feel forced. It just feels like, hey, that's naturally him doing that. He's honestly, just judging by his acting, like he's the kind of guy you actually kind of want to be around, because he's got that infectious attitude, this infectious thing where I'm like, I want to go and get it done. Let's do this and let's have fun while doing it. And with Inyaki's Luffy, I feel like there's a little bit more personality than I thought there was. A little bit, not a whole lot. There's like elements of intelligence here and there. There's elements of the wanderer, the imaginary, not the imaginary, the person that sees things behind what people see, which I completely enjoy, because it's like that's literally what Luffy is. He sees beyond what's in front of him every day, because his dream is to become the king of the pirates. And so having the ability to see what's beyond the person's actions and words is amazing, even without even interacting. Like, he can already tell, like, okay, this person's great. And that's one of the qualities I really appreciate. Now, what I do also hope to have, and nothing against Jacob Gibson, nothing against him, I want to see a little more out of him. I want to see more interactions with the crew. I want him to be the guy who not only just, lies through his teeth about his adventures and tells these stories and stuff and is full of crap, but also be the gadget guy, be the warrior, the warrior that he is in the story, but in such a way where it kind of reflects Jacob as a person. Maybe, heck, have some music elements in his character as well, because if you don't know, Jacob is actually a musician himself. He makes his own music, and I would really like to see elements of that in there. Even though, like, of course, later on, if they get to this point, they're going to have Brook, who is mainly a music-led character, with his playing his violin, and, of course, his crew, and, oh man. I don't know if we'll get to that point. I would really like to see that happen. I would. Okay, so one other thing I would really like to see, and I can kind of see it being, like, from what I can tell from interviews and stuff, Emily Rudd cares about the character a lot. And one of the elements that I hope she'll be able to bring, and I think she will, is the hidden care that she has for everybody, and not just... Well, you kind of saw elements of that with Zoro, which I appreciate, because there's like this really great friendship building between them. Heck, I'd like to see a little bit more of that. A lot of people think it's like a romance angle, but it's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's not. But there's just this element of like, okay, like, please don't do this. I am basically saying, I'm concerned for your life. You can get killed. That I would like to see a little bit more. Maybe not just for Zoro, but for Luffy. Maybe not so much for Sanji. I'd like to see some irritation from her, to get annoyed with his, like, flirtatious remarks. It's like, okay, please, just, I don't like you like that, kind of ordeal. Or maybe have those awkward moments again, like where she doesn't know how to react. I don't know. You can have elements of both, because Nami just couldn't tolerate crap. And nothing to knock the anime Nami, but it's like, anytime Sanji was at that point to where he fell for just some random beautiful girl. Heck, I think the first time he was introduced in the anime, and he talked to Nami, he just had him by his finger, had her at her finger, wrapped around her finger, and she just kind of manipulated to get what she wanted. And in this version, I kind of like the fact that she's not sure what to think. It's like, a guy's never really done that with her, although in the anime, every time it's happened to her, she's manipulated that. And in this, it's like, I think they're leaning less into the provocativeness, which I hope they continue to do, because she doesn't seem like that type of person to be provocative, despite being in the modeling industry, and she seems more modest in this version, which I appreciate, because it's like, realistically, a real girl would not, in certain cases, be this provocative, be wearing all that different stuff, which it could change. They may have an outfit that that's in Skypiea that she wears, that I'm not too looking forward to. I'm not saying she wouldn't look good in that, but I'm like, I'm not there for, bikini tops and stuff like that. I'm here for watching these characters grow. And a lot of people just argue, like, oh, we want to see these manga accurate, anime accurate outfits, but it's like, what if the actress is not comfortable with that? What if she doesn't want to do that? What if she's not okay with that? I don't know. I mean, that's up to her at that point. I mean, it's her choice. From what I can tell, it's probably better for that. Even though I remember, oh, that's interesting. Weird. I'm just exiting work, so I'm like getting ready to leave, and there's a whole line of school buses getting ready to leave the area, and they're kind of holding up a little bit. There's one in the middle having to hold up. What's going on here? Okay, it'll be fine. But honestly, what I would like to see is the care that she shows for Vivi eventually, the care that she has for drummer, what's his name? Chopper, the care that she has for Luffy, and just kind of have this not just motherly or older sister dynamic with everybody, but just be like, hey, stupid, don't do that. Why are you doing this? Having that somewhat like not wizened, but I guess like wiser mentality, or just like, okay, common sense mentality in that. I'd like to see that. I would like to see more really good fight scenes with Zoro, of course. And I think that's what we're going to be getting. More fight scenes with Sanji, because, like, man, I really want to see Taz just absolutely rock a fight scene. Because from what I can tell, and I heard from interviews, this man's been working pretty hard. I mean, he even went around parts of the world to train for a month just to get more experience. I mean, what's even crazy is there's this clip I just watched today saying, like, I even went to train with Lucha Libre, which is nuts. Lucha Libre is one of the, for those of you who don't know, Lucha Libre is Mexico's professional wrestling. And it has its own culture, it has its own history, and it's known for their high-flying style of wrestling. And I'm like, wow, that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how he would implement that into Sanji's fighting style with his kicks, because a lot of the time, if you've seen in the anime, like, he does a lot of kicks in the air and stuff like that, and I hope he's able to apply it very well, because especially with the way that Lucha Libre are, it's absolutely amazing. And I look forward to seeing more fight scenes with them, and of course Nami being able to fight a little bit more instead of just being afraid in the background. That's another thing I really enjoyed. That's the one characteristic I kind of wish they dialed back on, because you gotta have a character that's not ultimately gonna fight everybody, but you also want a character that can be like, okay, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I'm not afraid to get in the trenches a little bit. And then, of course, like, have plenty more fight scenes for Luffy, for Iñaki, to see all the different Gum powers and stuff like that, and be able to see more of the moves. And, of course, see more of Usopp's inventions, see where he could go from there. They finally added his goggles, which is great. And then, I guess for expectations for some of the other characters, honestly, I hope that they do Smoker justice. I really do. I hope they have the same scene like in the anime where this little girl accidentally spilled ice cream on his pants, and he just, like, kneels down, pats her on the head, gives her some money just to make him a good guy, genuinely, and not to be some scary dude. And it's like, you would never expect a guy like Smoker, like the way he looks, to do something kind like that. I would like to see that. I genuinely would. Or have some similar scene to that. I think it's her name. I forgot. Is it Tashigi? Is her name? I think there should be honestly, if they don't give her too much time in the episode, I wouldn't be surprised. But if they did and they explore a little bit more between Zoro and her, I would really, really like to see the awkwardness from Zoro a little bit more. Because they had elements of it in the anime and the manga, but a little bit more. And also being able to see more and more of her resourceful side. Because she literally just, if I remember correctly, had the book of names of swords in them and just spouted all the information she could think of on it. And then, of course, lean into more of the sword lore as well in the show, because if you know anything about One Piece, sword lore in One Piece is absolutely amazing. Especially when it comes to Zoro's swords, the Sandai Katetsu, which is my favorite one, which just means Oni Cutter, Yubashiri, which means Snow Chaser, and ironically enough, this is what I nicknamed my car, Snow Chaser, but that was also for a whole other reason. But what was it? I forgot. It's like the most important sword. It's the one he puts in his mouth, dang it. And I forgot it. It means like Pathway to Peace or something. It's not I'll look it up later. Man, I feel stupid for forgetting the name, because it's the first sword I have a collection of at least the Sankai Katetsu, the white sword, the Yubashiri, and I have Enma as well. I actually have 2 copies of Enma. One from Christmas where my brother got it for me, and another that I later on bought for myself. I don't have the, what is it called? Gosh, from Thriller Bark. I don't have that sword. I will get that at some point. And, man, I am a Zoro fan, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy Zoro, and I think he still will be maybe not my top, but one of my favorites, but my top one is Nami. Not because, okay, you know, most guys when they watch anime, they like girls because, oh, she's attractive, No, I like her because, and everybody's made this excuse, because she has great character. No, like, she genuinely is a well-written character. Her backstory is amazing. How it connects to the Marines through her stepmom, how it affects her, how her death affects her, how she extremely hated pirates, even like meeting Luffy for the first time. Just the fact that they kept that in the story, which is great. I really do like that. And oh yeah, they got to do Buggy justice, because he's coming back. Alvida, I saw Alvida. Hints of Alvida, what she looked like. I'm like, wow, she quickly lost that weight within a year or so, year and a half, because it's like, that's amazing. And she did a wonderful job. She looks great. I look forward to seeing her, you know, in her outfit using the smooth fruit. Let me think. One other thing that I hope they really do is just make the reveal of Vivi really interesting, and the girl that plays her really interesting, because if you remember, she plays as a fake member of Baroque Works. For those of you that don't watch One Piece, that's kind of a spoiler. For those of you who watched it for so long, yeah, you already know. You already know it's going to be Vivi, and I'm excited in the direction that they're going, and the one element that I really do enjoy as well that Oda picked out that makes sense to me is, if you think about it, why is this pale white character, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, why did they make Vivi white? She belongs to a very hot, humid area. You'd think, growing up, I mean, despite the fact that she probably grew up in the palace most of the time, but like, you'd think she would have some form of darker skin color, which I really I'm going to say this much. I think it's a brilliant idea, and you can be mad at me if you want, but I think it makes sense, especially with how Alabasta is kind of based in Middle Eastern culture. It makes sense. Heck, it makes sense that King Cobra has a darker complexion too. Because if you remember how melanin works, it was built up over time. The people learn to adapt over time, and their skin color darkened. Certain features of their face changed. There was a reason why people have different colors of skin. And in the fact of having them be darker colored is great. I really like that. I genuinely think that's a brilliant idea, and I think it'll play well, and especially if the girl plays Vivi well, I think it's going to be out of the ballpark. I think, honestly, if they do it well, if they give her room to breathe, give her the elements that she had in the Alabasta arc, it's going to be great. Nico Robin looks great. I think she's going to be interesting. I don't know if they're going to give her an accent or not, because I think the lady playing her who genuinely just looks like Robin, if they do her right and they give her that accent, let her, the actress keep her accent, fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic, please. And then, of course, I also want to say this, if they have elements of, what was his name? Helmeppo and Kobe. Helmeppo and Kobe's training have elements of that in there, kind of like through those little splash pages in the manga and some of the scenes in the anime. I hope they do that to kind of show, to prepare for his, as they call it, a glow up towards being that warrior that's able to use Haki very well. And I want to see more elements of Haki in the, in the show, because the fact, okay, I'm going to gush for a minute. The fact within like a couple episodes, and you see Shanks saving Luffy using Conqueror's Haki to scare the Sea King just like that. That's amazing. Seeing the eye, seeing the pupil dilate to let you know, yeah, by the way, we paid attention to you guys. We're letting you know, yeah, Haki exists. Even before it was introduced. And just, oh man, I hope they do more. I hope what they don't do is just like, oh, yeah, by the way, this is Haki. Introduce it early, but like, just have elements of Haki in there. Just have elements, and then eventually actually introduce it if they get past Sabaody. If they get to that point, and when they have the time, what is it called? The time skip. And of course, whenever they get to Ace, but point being, I would also, now, in terms of what they're going to do with Chopper, I think it's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm genuinely happy with what they're doing with Chopper. It makes sense that, yeah, it's going to have to be CGI. It's going to have some elements of that. If they have some practical effects in it that helps the actors on set talk to them, great. That's going to be great. And I'm hoping it's not going to be stiff and stunted and weird and just have this fully animated character kind of just out there with everybody, I hope they really do well with his story, especially Drum Island. I don't know how they're going to replicate it, but I would like to see the scene of Luffy carrying everybody up the mountain to, what's her name's? Ah, crap. I haven't been paying attention to One Piece in a while, so it's like, I'm forgetting elements. I haven't read it in a while. It's not Dr. Hurluruk, because that's the male doctor that helped Chopper become the doctor that he is then. What's the female doctor's name? That, the lady who plays the mom from Freaky Friday, who's also been in, like, many other roles, like Halloween. I forgot her name, dang it. I keep forgetting names. I apologize. Just, if you're watching this, just remind me in the comics of the people that I forgot their names of. But, so, what was it? I hope they do WAPO well. I hope they do elements of Baroque Works well. All the Baroque Works members there. I hope they really don't make the booger picking exploding thing weird. Or if they do, they should lean into it. I don't know, because it's a weird power. I hope they do it well and not just make it just strange on purpose. And just make it weird. I don't know. You gotta do well with it, hopefully. I hope they do. I genuinely do. And then also seeing the wax candle one work really well. Number 3, I hope that goes well. I really do. And they get out what they need to get done throughout the show. And honestly, what I hope they do, they not only do a good job, but they fix some of the issues that people have talked about. Maybe some of the pacing issues, because it's strange still having pacing issues here and there, because it felt like we didn't spend a whole lot of time with some of the characters. I'm glad Sanji got his own episode. I really do. And I wish there was more interaction with Zoro in that season, and him, because it's there was an important scene, when he's fighting Mihawk, and Sanji's like, why is this guy fighting? He should give up and just stop, because he's about to die. And I wish there was something like that in there, stuff like that. Just more great interactions between characters. Maybe kind of slow some scenes down. Also, just, they can't add everything. It's sad what they did to Don Krieg. They can't add everything. But if they're going to do it in such a format, and I believe what they did with Don Krieg was correct, and just they can't do everything all at once and have his own arc, but just be able to just show some love to a character that people really enjoy. And I hope that they do the same with some other characters. I don't know if they're going to have certain aspects taken out, certain things dealt with in a certain way. I don't know. I don't know. I want a different feel for this season. Intentionality, to not only fix, but make it similar, but feel different. Not make everything the same, because you're not going to be able to replicate everything from the anime, because, look, people can make anime like this. And it takes time, and I'm not drawing away from the animators, I'm not drawing away from people, but what I hope they do, genuinely, is not only have more great character interactions and great story moments, and seeing the scenes from the anime and manga being played out on the screen, but I also hope for individuality in this, to make it different somewhat, have something refreshing for new folks, because especially with the fact that we're getting a whole anime remake for the earlier seasons of One Piece. That's crazy. I think that's great, but I also hope, that they do not only like they did the source material justice, but do it in a way where it's fresh, it feels new, it feels different, and not just, we just ask the actors just to pretend they're the characters, which they're not, which is great. They care about this. They do. They genuinely do. And just make it enjoyable. And just that's what I hope for. That's what I genuinely hope for. I look forward to seeing more and more elements of the anime and the manga in there, and just be able to have fun with it again. Because, I'm, relatively new to the One Piece series, because I started watching it back in, 2022, the first time with a group of friends of mine, and goodness, it was great. I remember really enjoying the Arlong arc. I really enjoy watching all that. I unfortunately stopped at that point because it just felt like I was just, it was pushing it a little bit for me because with all the episodes that were there, it was I'll have to watch more, but I'm thinking I might end up watching One Piece or something like that. I think that's what it's called, and just catch up that way. And then, of course, I've also read up to past Alabasta in the manga, which is great. And one other thing that I look forward to is seeing Ace. Ace is like I'll just say, he's my favorite. He became my favorite due to some spoilers, unfortunately, and how I connected to the character personally. So, matter of fact, I am going to make a separate video about how I really enjoy Ace and discuss it another time. But I'm curious about what you guys think. Tell me what you're expecting, what you want out of the show, more importantly, what you are hoping to enjoy about it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. God bless you. Have a great day. Goodbye.